welcome back to Times Square today. I'm your host, Jess Todfeld. Well, whether it's heart attacks or cancer, divorce, family problems, these are not things that just happen. It happens because we are out of balance. But thankfully, our next guest is out to change all that. She is Susan Sly, President and CEO of Step Into Your Power, and she's on a mission to restore balance. Welcome, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks, Jess, for having me. It's great to be here.
So is it possible, to explain how we can get more balance in our lives?
Absolutely. It's possible to be more balanced. So many people think it's not.
Yes.
And I'm living proof that it is. And here's the thing, if you don't get into balance, life doesn't care. Life is going to make you get balanced.
You're somebody who's been pretty darn successful, running multi-million-dollar business. You've had an MS diagnosis. You've run triathlons and Boston Marathon many times. I think 6 times, five times.
Yeah.
Believe me, that's 5 more times than I have. How did this whole thing come about?
Absolutely. So I've been traveling the last 10 years growing a business, and I'm in airports, I'm walking down the street, I'm going to meetings, and people are more out of balance than ever before. I see people and maybe they're making a lot of money, but they're 50, 60, 100 pounds overweight, or they're making great money and their marriage stinks, or they're so focused on the health, they're obsessed, but other areas of their life are falling apart. And I said, this is crazy. This is not how it's supposed to be. I want to do something about it. And that's where my company was born. I said, you know what? I believe balance isn't something that happens 24/7. I mean, who lives at the end of the dock just meditating 24/7? They don't do that.
Right.
But it happens in moments. And if I can help people have more of those moments, then that will be the determination of success.
So was there an exact moment where you said, and like I said, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to have this chapter of your life. You're running a successful business. Was there a moment when you said, I guess I'm going to be sharing this with people?
Well, Jess, I was one of those people who was chasing balance and success. I thought if I had the nice car and the beautiful house and the great clothes that I would be successful.
Yeah.
And I chased it so hard, I ended up getting sick. And in January of 2000, I was diagnosed with progressive multiple sclerosis. 3 days later, my marriage fell apart. I was that person. I was running around, I was on television, I was on radio, I owned a business, I was teaching nutrition at the local college, I was doing it all, working 7 days a week. 16 weeks after the diagnosis, I walk into my health club that I owned, and it was Good Friday. There was a padlock on the door. I had no idea. I had buried my head in the sand financially. I don't know if any of our viewers have ever done that, but I did it. And we hadn't been paying our taxes. My business partner and I were not communicating.
This is about as out of balance as it gets,
It's
okay.
so out of balance.
Right.
And I ended up homeless. I lost everything.
Wow.
And I was on my brother-in-law's sofa as a single mom, all within a 4-month period.
Wow. But you have turned that around in a big way, a big enough way that people were asking you, what did you do and how can you help us? So explain how that transition took place.
Absolutely. Well, I always believed that in order to teach something, you have to live it. And I knew that I didn't earn the right to really be helping other people until I turned my own life around. And it began with a decision to get more in balance. And I firmly believe, and there has to be a belief structure in place, a belief that yes, whatever someone's going through right now, and if someone's watching and they have a negative health report, they're going through something financially, or maybe their relationship isn't what they want it to be, they have to believe they can turn it around. And I had that belief. So I spent 3 years being very sick. And if anyone is watching who has ever been diagnosed with MS or another illness, I was that person. I was slurring my speech. I was stumbling. I was, not sleeping at night. It was awful. And first I had to deal with my health, because without our health, we have nothing. That was the foundation. And then dealing with the money situation. I started a business. I didn't make $1 million in 24 hours, but it took a few years, became a multi-millionaire, married to the love of my life. We have a healthy relationship, and people kept saying, how do you do it? How do you do it? And that's where I really said, you know what, I can't ignore this calling. I've got to help people, and this is what I'm going to do till my dying day.
Right. Okay, so let's get specific here. What are some actual strategies you can give to our viewers today?
Oh, great question, Jess. The first one is clarity. You cannot compare your notion of balance to someone else. I mean, you are an individual, and let me give you an example. My husband cannot stand yoga. I love yoga. I go and I love the hot yoga, and I feel so great and this balance moment for an hour and a half. He hates every single minute of it. This
Yes.
will throw him out of balance for a good 24 hours. So you have to have clarity about those things that bring you balance. Okay, that's
Okay.
the first
Clarity,
thing.
yeah.
Clarity. The second one is I would suggest to our viewers that they decommit to something. We all have those things in our life that we know we don't feel good about. And science has now discovered that we not only have neurons in our brain, we have them in our gut. And I want our viewers to take a look at what they've committed to for the rest of the year and say, is there something that just doesn't feel good? Maybe it's an obligation you made, a meeting, whatever it is. And then gracefully, in my book, Organize Your Life, I teach this, gracefully decommit. So you might call someone up and say, you know what, Jess, I wanted to really help you with that project. And when I do something, I want to give it 100%.
Yeah.
And you are a person who deserves my 100%. I don't have the bandwidth to do that right now. So I have to bow out, but please do call me next time. So uncommit to something. It's going to feel good. The third thing is take a look at the three fundamental areas of your life: your health, your relationships, and your money. Pick the area that is the most out of balance. I don't have to tell you. You know the answers within. I'm just your tour guide. Figure out what it is.
Right.
And do something. Take an action in the next 24 hours. So let's say it's your health. And you know you've got to make that call to the personal trainer, the nutritionist. Do it in the next 24 hours. Let's say it's your money. Go call the guy to debt consolidate, the financial planner, the accountant, whoever it is. I have students who haven't filed taxes in 5 years. This is one of the things we got to get done.
Yeah.
Or if it's your relationship, schedule the date night. Do it. 24 hours, take that one action and watch what begins to unfold.
In fact, that was my question for you about taking action, dealing with those obstacles. And as you're saying this, I was thinking, yeah, we'll put it on a list. I mean, I guess that's really where you come in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you work one-on-one with people. I know you wrote the book and you have a lot of material that's coming out. But so how does this work? How can we actually, you can tell us that we should take action. How does this play out?
I speak to large groups, I go into companies. I also have an online forum that I've created so people like yourself can take my class. They're all virtual, they're all recorded. People have to be accountable. And my students get results. I'll tell you very quickly. I had a student named Scott. He was struggling, had a business in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
1 year after doing what I had suggested he do, he now has 3 companies. He's working half the hours. He's making more money than he ever has in his life. And I love those stories.
That's fantastic. And in fact, you have a free item or something
I
that
do.
our viewers can get. What is that?
If you go to my website, www.susansly.com,
Yeah.
so there's a life planner, and you can download it. And what it will help you do is get focused in the key areas of your life. It's going to help you set some goals, and more importantly, it's going to help you decommit from some things and get a lot more focused. And we get great results from that with people.
That's fantastic. This thing was all born out of you obviously dealing with those huge obstacles in your life that you didn't allow, well, they put you out of balance, but you didn't allow it to stop you, and you're pushing forward, and this has all just found you. We're thrilled that we had you on the show. Any last thoughts and words of wisdom you can share with our audience?
This is especially for someone watching this right now who's struggling. And my words of wisdom are these: whatever it is that you're going through, don't let it be a destination. It's just a vista, a stopping point, but you can overcome it. And take it from me, someone who has.
Wow, Susan Sly, thank you for coming here to Times Square today.
Thanks for having me, Jess. It's been great.
Thank you.